This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistant's assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
From the Fifth Quarter Studio in Madison, Wisconsin, you're listening to High School Hoops with your hosts, Steve Collins and Jake Stager.
All right, welcome. How are you, Coach?
You know, I am really good. A little sad because we have about 40 days of school left. And after 13 years of teaching, this is by far the best group of kids I've ever had. So I'm really kind of sad.
Oh, that's sad.
It is sad. I've had them for 2 years. So I was their first grade teacher last year, and the second grade position opened up and I got to loop with my kids. And so I've had them for 2 years. And so
you should have a week party at the end of the year.
I'm going to. I've been really trying to plan ahead to really make it really fun at the end of the year. And I got kids multiplying in second grade and doing a lot of cool things because I've had them for so long and I got them to push them in the right way. And so I guess I'm a little sad, but I'm also excited because, you know, I'm starting to get the itch again to be a head coach again. And so I've been kind of dabbling in that. So
well, that's going to lead into our topic today.
That's why, because you asked me to create the topics. Like,
yeah, I know, I always do. So before we do that, let's shout out to our two sponsors. First of all, Dr. Dish, the number one shooting machine on the market, bar none. It's a rock star. Yeah, we love Dr. Dish. I want a fourth one, but I don't know if my AD will buy me a fourth one. So mention us, High School Hoops, any of our podcasts, Coach Unplugged, and they'll give you $450 off. Tell them Coach Collins sent you, and they'll take really good care of you. Then go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. The one-stop shop for basketball coaches. So we're going to talk about like getting a job and all that kind of stuff. I literally talking to Teach Hoops members, like looking at their resumes, their portfolio. I got a bunch of examples.
And I don't know how other states are, but I feel like Wisconsin's very slow in the process.
Yeah, I know. Well,
I look at postings every day and I cannot believe I know, and you know too, by the end of the year, by the end of this next couple months, there'll be about 70, 100 positions in each boys and girls. But right now there's only about, when I look at Wisconsin, we have a thing called We Can, where the postings are majority are. There's only about 8 to 10 positions posted. And a lot of them are in northern areas and not even close to proximities or jobs that I wouldn't really, I don't
feel you live in Wisconsin. It was 80 yesterday and it's going to snow in 2 days. So, hey, if you don't like the weather, northern Wisconsin might be okay.
I guess so. But I love my mom and my in-laws too much. And I have a good nucleus of friends. I don't really want to move too far away. So
you don't want to be too far from the Bucks arena.
That's true. That is exactly. And I'm not that far from Madison either to go to that, or I can go to I like going to the Marquette game, especially I like going to the girls games with my daughter. I was actually in February, I was at the game where they beat UConn. It was the first time in school history that they beat UConn, which was really cool to see.
It was very cool.
I was there courtside, so it was awesome with my daughter. Yep.
Just to see Gino's worth it. So
very much so.
Yeah, a couple things. So if you think about that process, the interview process has really changed. And I can tell you from someone that helps people inside of Teach Hoops is, you know, you have to have a portfolio, you have to have a playbook, you have to have a resume. What's changed, what I've noticed is changed a lot too, is they're expecting you to, like, I have coaches around the country that actually have to do on-court demonstrations, or they have to get in front of a whiteboard and, you know, draw an ATO or draw an out of bounds play or something like that. And, you know, what are you going to do if this happens during the game? So I think the nuances have happened, which is crazy because there's less people applying, I think, than there were 25 years ago too, just because of the state of education and all that kind of stuff, especially for a high school coach. But
yeah, I would say when I did my interview for the first head job I had, that was very, very, very common. I remember them asking me to draw, and that was in 2012. I had to draw an out of bounds play. I had to draw my favorite set. I had to break a press. And so just basic things. So I started looking at like, and that was one of the benefits of being a Teach Who member. And I was a beta member back in the day.
you were
So Steve,
you were like you were like you were in the top 10, like first 10, I think. Were you
yeah, I remember.
were you when I had it on Schoology or Google Classroom or something? Were
Yes, Schoology back in
oh
the day.
my God. So I'm gonna go off track for a second. So when I started teachhoops.com, I didn't know if it worked. It was 2017, 2018, somewhere in there. And I didn't know if it would work. So I figured, okay, I'll just put it in Schoology or whatever it is. It's kind of like Google Classroom. I said, I'll just put it on there. I'll get a link and I'll see if anybody joins. And it was like in June, I think. And I was literally like 2 days ahead of everybody, because I was just putting new stuff.
I know you were. You were literally just putting, and there wasn't to be honest, there wasn't a lot of rhyme and reason to begin with, as where you do now with the roadmap and everything else.
Right.
For where Teach Hoops was when I first started, and I look at your website now, it's like completely different. But again,
I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah, but the key thing to Teach Hoops have always been, and I'm not here to put a plug, is just
you can plug. I got 2 kids in college next year. I got 2 kids. I just got Emma's tuition bill.
So I think the plug has always been the interactive piece of the office hours, and that is
right.
Also, I mean, as much as everything else, that interactive piece, because that becomes, and we look at your framework, it says defining who you are as a coach from a personal level. That's how you do it, being able to look at what you're going to do. So for me, like when that
goes back to what we were just talking about. I don't know if Cole listens to this one, but I was talking to Cole about some jobs applying, and he wanted me to look at his resume. He wanted to talk about and it was like we had to get on a call. Like I just did a call with him, because it's like, okay, he's applying, he needs to talk to me. But the whole process, and we're having construction at our school, and I've had to move in and out of my room like 2 or 3 times. It's crazy what you find. Like I found old binders and stuff from when I was applying, and the game really hasn't changed that much.
No, and it really hasn't. But like I look at all my documents, and that was the cool thing that I did with you during that first year journey, is like building the whole framework of player expectations. I mean, there's a little things I would change, but a lot I wouldn't. My overall philosophy, my practice expectations in depth, my pregame philosophy. I mean, I kept everything. I mean, I do a timeout to nutrition to non-negotiables defensively, my offensive philosophy, my coaching expectations. I mean, I have all of that stuff. Like, so when I come to an interview, hopefully I will get an opportunity to interview. I have all these stuff. I mean, I have everything.
So a couple things. So, inside of this probably, but inside of Teach Hoops, I've talked to enough ADs. So there's questions, and then there's answers.
I know. I looked at all of them. Yeah,
I know.
And
so what do you think the biggest thing? Let's pretend I'm interviewing you. What do you think the biggest thing I'm looking at? I think I know what this is, and this is for people that would be applying. But what do you think the biggest thing for me? I'm interviewing you. What do you think that one of the biggest things I'm looking for in you as the interviewer? And you, what do you think I'm looking for in you? What am I? So you sit and talk to me for a half hour, and you are 45 minutes, and I ask all these questions. Obviously, I'm looking to see if you can, know if you're knowledgeable. Well, let's assume base knowledge. Let's assume you know the game. What do you think I'm looking for?
I think you're looking for someone that understands the process and understands you have to if you're looking at me, I'm looking at my ability for the years of experience that I've had of being an educator and working with kids. I think that's a huge thing. Looking at a job based on just my overall experience and organization. I think people, when you come to a thing and you have a portfolio and that those pieces of paper speak for you, you're not pulling it out of your head. I think you got to sell yourself anytime. All right, let me take a look here, or here's an example of my practice. Like when I do my portfolio, I'm going to have whether a couple samples of out of bounds plays, a couple samples of this. So you're not searching for it. You have it all right there for you. I think they want someone that's organized. I also just think they want somebody that understands depending on the position. I think they have to understand that being a high school coach is bigger than just your team. They need to know, I think they need to know that they understand how the process works. So for me, in my experience is that, oh, you were at a small high school for 5 years. You understand the value of camps and youth program and building from there. I mean, I think you're looking at all those things. I think that's huge.
So so there's two things. I'm gonna go off script a little bit. There's two things I think I look at. The first thing is what you are talking about. Do you know the game? Have you planned it out? Like I was telling you when I did the construction thing, I found all this stuff that literally I had planned out almost to the day for a year, like what we're going to do each day. So that's the portfolio. That's that deep dive. And then the second thing is, for me, if I'm interviewing you, I'm probably the AD, I'm an assistant principal, or I'm the principal, probably if it's a high school. Okay. I am looking at, are you going to make my life harder or easier? And the way you make my life harder is you're not dealing with parents, you're not communicating. I personally, if I'm interviewing you, I wanted to make sure you know the basketball part of it, and then I wanted to make sure you know the educator part of it.
So that's where I would sell myself, and like I said, and I didn't really go into detail, but like I am familiar with using Remind and communicating with people, how to navigate, how to have honest discussions with adults, whether it's with a parent and a child. I and I've been working with kids for 20 years, and I've worked from college kids all the way down to little kids, and so I just think that my passion and my personality shines too. I mean, people want that, and so I think you got to be able to sell yourself.
You have to sell yourself because whether it's fair or not, basketball coaches, football coaches, baseball, softball coaches tend to be, this is from a former volleyball coach, trust me.
Yep.
They tend to be you represent this. Let's just say this: you represent the school and the community 365 days of the year. No one really knows who the cross country coach is unless something happens. Hate to break it to you, but it's just true.
It's not a popular sport in America.
Like the boys volleyball coach. No one knew. Half the people didn't even know I was coaching it. And I've had a pretty successful high school basketball coaching career. So that's I think young coaches sometimes forget that they are that representation. Like, seriously, like you can't,
Yeah. I mean,
stumbling out of the bars at 2 a.m.
But honestly too, is that you are a representation of that community. You're not just a representation of that building. And then you're looking at all the people that are invested in you. We're not even talking just the people that are on your team. You're talking about all the young people, all the people, your coaching staff, the teachers across the district, everything. They look at you at that. And now in this day and age, it's not just the newspaper, it's the Twitter, it's the online articles, it's Facebook. People can post something in a minute. You have to be able to do the right thing always at the right time. Always.
Yes, always. And again, when people are looking this up or watching this, applying for the job is part of the process, but you should be, again, inside your portfolio, stuff that Jake just represented, but it should be everything. You are the CEO of the entire, since a kid picks up a basketball until they graduate and walk across that stage, you are the CEO of everything that they entail in terms of that basketball experience. And, it's not just running your team. You have teams underneath you. You have all these things that kind of correlate. And I think sometimes coaches think, if you want to just coach a team, be a freshman coach, be an 8th grade coach, because then there's someone above you. You're going to just coach your team. You're going to do stuff inside the community. But when you're at the top of the triangle, that's where the buck stops. And I think sometimes young coaches who are applying for jobs forget that, or be a college coach. I guess a college coach, you're it. That's it. Like, you're not worried about your freshman team.
And I would also say that, I mean, I would say that I would use my experience at my age now, I'm a completely different person who I was 25 and 35. I think I'm a way better coach.
Yeah.
And I took the time to step back and coach as an assistant. And, the guy who worked in the college, he didn't even call me his assistant. I was associated head coach, and we had a lot of success in learning through teach hoops and everything.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Did I lose you? We're good. All right.
I'm here. I'm muted, so I was listening. Yeah, I'm here.
I just think that you have to be able to also say that you have the ability to grow. I don't think people want to have persons that say they're going to do exactly what they want, but I also think that they want somebody that they can count on, but also know that if they have a concern or they have something they want it done this way, that they're going to be flexible and adaptable. You have to be. That's just being a good work person. As much as I want to do everything my way, I know that's not always going to be the case, and I don't want to buck the system. I want to work the system, and I want to be able to know that I want to have those people on my back. I want on my good side. And, it's not we're always working together, because in the end, when you're a high school coach, it goes more down. It becomes more than just basketball. Sadly, the last couple of weeks, I've had several players' parents die, that I have not seen in many years.
Right.
And I'm getting addresses and I'm writing letters to these kids, that were players of mine. Like, right. I mean, that's the kind of relationship that, good coaches have with their players.
Right. No, I agree.
They feel that sorrow. They feel that sadness. I lost my dad at 21. I know what it's like to be a young man to lose their dad at a young age, or a parent. I want them to be able to say, if I ever have to call Coach Stager, I can. Right. And that's what I want. That's why I went into it, because I want to be able to develop young men and young women to be great people, and to be able to carry the legacy of the game in a good way.
And I would tell people, here's what you have to do too, is plan. Do not walk into that thing. First of all, dress for the job you want. So you should go in dressed to the T. Yeah, don't go in sweatpants.
I got my suit. We're good.
Yeah. But more importantly, you need to be ready. You need to walk into that like you're taking your midterm, second semester, sophomore year in college on econ. Inside out. Yeah.
So I've been looking at jobs, and like, if it's like not the thing that you're thinking about when you're taking it, like when you're like going to the back, like just taking a brain break, right? Like, I'm thinking in my head, and I was even showing my daughter, I'm like, look at this. She's like, well, this has your old school on. I'm like, yeah, well, I can still put the new school on there. Like, I have all these things, and thinking about how I want to tweak it, like what I would do. Like, if you're not thinking like you're that job yet, like you're that person, then it's not the right job for you. And the other thing is, like, the one other reason why I want to do this podcast today was to like evaluate if the open coaching position is right for you. I don't think every coaching position is the right fit for everybody. You got to be careful.
No.
Okay. So for example,
if you don't get it, it might not be, it's probably not the right job for you. Cause
for sure,
I was 28, 29, and I wanted that first job I applied for. I wanted it so bad. And I was in tears, and I remember my AD taking me for a drive, and it will be okay. And I get it. And blah, blah. I that's how badly I wanted it. Dick Martin took me for a long drive on that. I'll never forget that. And we found like a river, because we were in northern Wisconsin, and it's like, we just talked, and he let me work through it. And I was just distraught. And, cause I wanted it so bad. I didn't, when the first job opened up, I was 23. I didn't even apply because I wasn't ready, but I thought I was ready. And I maybe was ready, but it was and then look at the job I ended up getting. Did things work? Did things work out okay? Yes, because this was a better fit for me. 100% better fit for me. People, players, community. It fit my personality.
Right. And it also kind of fit where you're from the area, it all worked out.
It would not have worked. That other job, I would not have lasted that. I would not have. I just know I would. But yeah.
So I think you got to understand, try to find ways of how you fit in that community. What you've done. So, I have a certain criteria that I look at. I'm not going to really go over. I just look at, size of school. Not everybody's intended to be a Division I high school coach. It takes a
big one for people that are listening. Big school. Some people are better at small schools. Some people are better coaching girls and boys. Some people are better in an urban setting or a rural setting. Some people need to build their own and they maybe need to, like, some people are builders. Like, I need to go in and rebuild.
Yeah. And I that's one of the things that I really, it excites me when I know that there's some opportunity, like there's some ground, and then you just got to build it. Those are the most appealing jobs for me. Then I also look at what the coaching turnover is in the last how many years of this position. I would tell you that one of my first coaching jobs, there was a lot of turnover for a long period of time, and you learn why that happens.
Has that changed in that community? I think it has, right? I haven't heard any. Huh?
No, it's gotten a lot better.
It's gotten better. Yeah, I think it has too. I haven't heard about that job opening up. We're not going to talk about where that is, but I don't think
it's not the case. And be honest with you, overall, I mean, but I think coaches aren't staying as long anyways. It's a common trend.
I think I think so people are literally leaving just to leave.
Right. Because they're exhausted.
I mean, I'm like a dinosaur. And then this was year 25, but I don't count the year we didn't. So this was 24. I counted as 24 because I didn't really coach that one year.
Yeah.
I mean, I dealt with my guys, but it was like Zooms kind of. So we didn't play. So, but the people that stick around 25 years is dinosaurs. Like, they're non-existent. 30 years, 25, 30 years is unheard of. Jerry, yeah. Anyway.
I would look at what's the status of their youth program and what's coming up, because that's a big feat too. You can't do it all yourself. That's huge. I think that's a huge piece if it's not there.
And what are you trying to do? Like you should also ask, what does the community want? Some communities want you to win a state title every year. Right. Some communities are just happy if you're winning. Some communities just looking for a warm body. I mean, what are you looking for too? I think those are the important thing.
And so, just in general, I think that you got to look at those, and I look at the overall success of that program. The last several years in turnover, I think, is huge as well. And it might not even just be the turnover of coaches completely. It just could be that particular sport, because there are schools that have really good football programs that may not necessarily have a great basketball program. So it's not always the point of, a lot of times those good coaches are able to build their nucleus, even though maybe other sports aren't as good.
I agree. So what we're telling you in closing, is there's a lot that goes into this process.
Yeah, and there's a lot of research. If you're not doing the research, you're not ready for it. If you're not ready to create a portfolio, you're not willing to go on a website and look at the previous coaches and the history and all these things, or go out and ask people that live in the community and try to make some connections, whatever you can, then it's not the right job for you. You just can't apply and just expect that you're going to be able to do it. There's a lot that goes into it.
I agree. All right. Anything in closing?
Nope.
Do I have to wish you luck?
No,
I don't think so. I don't believe in that. Let's go.
I don't either. Let's go.
Let's go. All right. Till next week.
Sounds good.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Stop by Sherwin-Williams and get 30% off select paints and stains May 2nd through the 12th. It's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Refresh your home inside and out with colors that make every space feel brand new. From cozy interiors to stunning exteriors, we've got the perfect shade for your next project. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Click the banner to learn more. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.